Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Terry James Gingrass, and this is Dr. G's ADHD Chat, the program that wants to make the world safe for ADHD. I am a clinical neuropsychologist in private practice. I diagnose and treat a lot of ADHD in both children and adults, and I'm also the father of an ADHD child. And as such, I believe I've probably made every parenting mistake it is possible to make. Mostly, not even mostly, totally out of ignorance. Because back in the day when my child was young and we weren't sure what was going on, it was very difficult to get either an adequate diagnosis or, in those days, even a proper treatment plan. So I'm trying to make it so you guys don't have to put up with that kind of nonsense, because I tell you, it makes it tough. It makes it really hard. And we're a little late today, because, as usual, some kind of technical thing. I'm not sure exactly what, but we couldn't connect very well. So I spent the last 15, 20 minutes trying to get online. And here I am finally. So okay, I want to talk a little bit. I talked a little bit about, rather dramatically, I think, the lost generation. And this is something I see a lot in my private practice. Okay, we have people coming in, adults coming in, and there are probably two big categories. Those that have been diagnosed with ADHD, and were diagnosed when they were in school, and never properly treated, or those who were never even evaluated. When they were kids, nobody even looked at them or, tried to find out what was going on, why they were having so much trouble in school, etc., etc. Okay, those are the two main groups. The thing they share in common is that neither one of them got proper treatment. Some of them just because, frankly, the parents would rather have done anything than put their child on medication. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I'm not sure why this is any different from any other kind of medication your child might have. But I do know that when these folks get to be in their 20s and have a virtual career out of getting fired from jobs, not being able to keep up, not being able to get the job done, all that stuff, they come and say, man, I need some help. This is not working. And then the adults who were never diagnosed, that usually takes them a little longer. They're usually a little older before they come in. Like I said, the folks that have already been diagnosed but just never properly treated, I normally see them when they're in their 20s. But the folks that are never treated at all, didn't know what the heck was going on, those folks usually come in much later. Late 30s, early 40s, sometimes even 50s. And they're having troubles. Okay, now, you got to have, I suppose you need to have a certain amount of sympathy for both groups. But the ones that fought it until they were middle-aged, usually it's because they come in because they got a promotion, and all of a sudden, it's not just their ability to do the job. They have to manage other people who are, doing basically the same jobs. And they get behind and they start, probably some coworker will say, do you have attention deficit disorder or something? You just never seem to, blip, blip. And these are the folks who fought. I mean, they've been fighting their whole lives, trying to get the job done, not knowing what's wrong, and developing their own compensatory strategies. And those compensatory strategies are everything from thousands of little sticky notes all over their desk to abusing those energy drinks that have all the caffeine and sugar in them. And lots of things in between, some of which are not all that legal, but they try, and you've got to give them credit for that. But I think the thing that frustrates me with all this is that these are folks who really want to fit in, who really want to be able to do the job, but they're never diagnosed, never treated. They think there's something wrong with them. Well, they know there's something wrong. They just don't know what. They think it may just be that they're stupid, or maybe they're just lazy, like there's a lazy gene out there somewhere. Or, oh, maybe they think they have some kind of a learning disability, so they can't remember anything. I get a lot of them who are thinking that they might be developing dementia. I mean, it's kind of interesting when you evaluate a 50-year-old, and she's thinking her memory is terrible, and that she's developing Alzheimer's or something, and you do the evaluation, you find out she's got ADHD, like bad. A lot of it, and never knew. Imagine being 50, almost 60 years old before you find out you've got ADHD. So that's why I'm kind of a bug on parents. Do not wait if you think your child might have ADHD. Get a comprehensive evaluation and make sure it's somebody who knows what they're doing, because there are a lot of people out there who probably shouldn't be making the diagnosis who are making the diagnosis. You need to have people who can use the proper testing, use the proper instruments to get a comprehensive evaluation that rules in ADHD and rules out everything else that could possibly look like ADHD. That is just vital. You cannot go any further with your child unless you do that. And if you are from a family that has a high incidence of ADHD, my Lord, do you want your child to have to go through everything you went through, or your spouse had to go through? Because we don't go to psychologists, or if he just applies himself, he'll do okay, or he's just, I'm doing this mostly for boys because that's the ones I hear the most about. He's just a boy, just a real high energy boy. That's all it is. He doesn't have ADHD. Well, I see what it's like to go through 30 or 40 years of your life without being properly diagnosed, without knowing what's wrong, without knowing how to compensate for it, without knowing what the proper treatments are. That is not a pleasant place to be. People who do that, who have to put up with that, who have to live their lives that way, frequently come in with other problems as well, like depression and anxiety. Now, we have an interesting situation in the way medical care is nowadays. Excuse me. Your family practice doctor will generally not diagnose ADHD, but feels perfectly comfortable diagnosing anxiety or depression. So I'm all the time getting these people in who've been on anxiety meds or depression meds. Mostly it's antidepressants, because there are some that also seem to have an impact on anxiety. They've been taking those for 7 or 8 years without really much in the way of good results. And then all of a sudden we say, well, maybe we need to look at ADHD. And very frequently we find that the main thing they've got wrong is that they have ADHD. All the time I'm evaluating people who've never been treated, and we do continuous performance testing, and they are in the profoundly impaired range. Now, I I don't know if you can imagine how bad that is, but it is so difficult to try to learn, to try to get an education, to try to hold down a job, when your attention is that bad. And I see it all the time. I see folks who were never diagnosed and who have severe to profound problems with attention and concentration, and they're fighting it on their own. They're trying to do it themselves, thinking they've got all kinds of anxiety and depression. Well, the anxiety is because they know they're going to screw up, and they just don't know when it's going to happen, and they don't know if that means they're going to get fired or whatever. They're depressed because they think there's something wrong with them, and they know they can't do anything better about it, and that life is always going to be miserable. And that's so unnecessary. Treating ADHD is not real complicated anymore. Okay, we get ADHDers who mostly 85-90% of them respond very well to medication. We're mostly talking stimulant medication here, but they are responding to stimulant medication, and it's very rapid. And when you see that, it's like, wow, this happened so fast. Sometimes the first morning they took their medication, it's like a whole new world opens up. And I it's very frustrating to hear people talking about, oh, this is, I'll never take medication, I would never do that kind of thing, when it's so effective. And honestly, most people don't have any problems with any kind of side effects. So I don't know. I mean, I read in the internet and all that stuff. I read, it's like, I never have heard of anybody having that kind of a side effect. And I'm pretty sure it's not really a side effect of the medication. It's a side effect of anxiety and being over-focused and that sort of stuff. I'm sure there are some minority group of folks who have troubles with almost any kind of medication. But in general, ADHD is effectively treated for, like I said, 85-90% of all ADHDers. And I would guess it's probably even higher than that if we restrict it to the folks who are actually well evaluated, so that we're pretty sure if we say they've got ADHD, they in fact do have ADHD. That is, it's probably higher than 90%, would be my guess, are effectively treated with stimulant medication. And the stuff's been around, used for ADHD since 1937. Okay? And there are people where I live who've been on Ritalin since they were in second grade and are now in their mid-50s, who still take it every day, and are leading productive, useful lives. I mean, some of them are even lawyers, which, you would think, that's probably not the kind of thing a person who has problems with attention should be trying to do, because you got to sit there and you got to read all this legalese stuff all the time. You got to read contracts and history and stuff like that. Anyway, in spite of that, I know a bunch of folks who are lawyers who have been on ADHD meds since they were since they were in elementary school, at least. Let's put it that way. They have no side effects. They've had no bad results. They wouldn't give up their medication for anything because they know what happens. They know they go right back to being ineffective and having difficulties getting things done and organizing things and finishing one task before going on to another, and all the other things that ADHDers have problems with. So if you're the parent of an ADHD child, let's quit fooling ourselves. They need to be in treatment. And if you don't get them in treatment, their life is going to be hard, very hard. Okay? And now, I know that ADHD is normally distributed. That is, there are some people who have just a little bit of it and some people who have a whole bunch of it. Okay? But that's not the thing you need to worry about. Most of the time, most people who are diagnosed with ADHD need to be on medication and will have lives that aren't real effective and aren't all they could do with their lives if they aren't treated. So I invite you to consider that very seriously and avoid all the kind of alarmist stuff that some people are spreading out there, and understand that fish oil, cabbage juice, whatever you're thinking of as an alternative treatment. I mean, give it a try if you want to, but understand that the likelihood that that's a treatment that's effective is very slim. And it's not a cure, let's put it that way. So, let me leave it at that, because I'm starting to feel like I'm preaching at you. But just understand that things have changed a lot since I was parenting my ADHD child, and life has gotten a lot easier. Lord, I wish I knew then what I know now. And Lord, I wish the treatments... Well, the problem is the treatments were available. We just didn't know to use them very often. ADHD was one of those things that was hardly ever diagnosed. And, well, now we know that, well, now it's not. Now it's diagnosed pretty regularly. And the treatment is much more widely effective. And we're developing new treatments all the time. So I am, once again, Dr. Terry James Gingras. This is Dr. G's ADHD Chat, and we're trying to make the world safe for ADHD. And I will catch you next time. My website is terrygingrasphd.com, and well, we will see you next time, and hopefully I'll be on time if I don't have any tech problems. We'll see you next time.